Hello and welcome to the BTDY Racing League, live tonight from Pocono Raceway for the fourth race of the season. We are here at the Tricky Triangle looking to get things going tonight. Practice is coming to a close in just a few moments. This is the KHIO 175 in the Below the Double Yellow Martin Sports Racing Series. Going to be an exciting one. 175 miles around this very difficult racetrack that is 2.5 miles in length. These drivers are going to be facing the challenge of three completely different corners as they tackle this track here in the Pocono Mountains. Let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's event. So taking a look at the standings here this evening. Bailey Turner and Brody Hays tied at the top. Bailey with a win a couple weeks ago at the Nashville Fairgrounds. Brody Hays has been consistent, and they are currently matched at 125 points apiece. As you see the rest of the top 20 in the standings, the cutoff line after the 12th position, currently Justin Carey has that one. Dallas Sullivan just 4 points behind the 12th place standings, and that is going to be quite the fight for the remaining 8 races of the regular season. And drivers now flipping over into the qualifying session. We'll take a look at who your fastest drivers are. But again, do want to thank you for joining us here tonight on VSPEED. My name is Adam Baker. I'll be your commentator here this evening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and participate in the broadcast. Cheer on your favorite driver throughout the night, and we will try and follow along throughout the race and see how things are going for them. But we do want to thank you for tuning in. Check out the sponsors of the series down below in the video description as we are headed over to the qualifying session. We actually are not going to be able to see those guys tonight, so we'll be back in just a few moments to catch the starting grid. We do thank you for bearing with us here. And again, thank you for tuning in to VSPEED. We'll be right back. We are back at the racetrack now with just a couple minutes left in the qualifying session. We'll put up the qualifying times on the screen here, as well as some of tonight's race analysis. So it is 70 laps here from Pocono tonight. It is going to be a 55 mile an hour pit road speed. We've got 3 sets of tires available in the pits. 3 green-white checkered attempts, 80% fuel load, and iRacing fixed setup. It has been very foggy here at Pocono Raceway, so that is going to make things challenging for these drivers throughout the race. They'll have to deal with those conditions along with the race conditions and the drivers around them. Track conditions, it's going to be actually pretty chilly here, 65-degree air temp, 77-degree track temp, so not going to be much of a problem in terms of the grip from the track temperature. But the fog and the visibility is definitely going to be a contributing issue We've seen races in real life at Pocono ended early due to fog, and hopefully it doesn't get that foggy that these guys will actually be able to see out in front of them, but it will be difficult nonetheless with some of those conditions up against them. Currently, Brody Hays, who's tied at the top of the standings, he is fastest in the qualifying session. His teammate Keith Mayato, the 36 machine, who was the pole sitter, I believe, last week at Darlington, was not able to get the victory there, but going to be starting up towards the front again. Alex Pelican, really good lap time. We've seen Alex be very quick here at the Pocono Raceway. And then Mark Emerson, Alec Martinez, VSPEED's very own, jumping in the race car. He's currently in the top 5, tied in lap time with Bailey Turner. Someone to watch for is going to be Jeff Wright. He's currently scored 11th, so he'll have a little bit of work to do at the beginning of the race. But we saw Jeff take the victory in the Saturday Night Racing League just a couple weeks ago here at the Pocono Raceway, and it was between he and Alec Martinez fighting for the victory in that one. So it could be another battle between those two drivers. Again, this is the KHIO 175 from Pocono Raceway. Make sure to check out KHIO. The sponsor link is in the video description. They have an awesome migraine cooling headband available for pre-order now. And of course, we do want to give a big shout out to Martin Sports for sponsoring this series. As the end of the qualifying session is here, it looks like it's going to be Brody Hays, the fastest qualifier in the field, as we will now click on over to the race session. Take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Rolling off from the front row, it is going to be Brody Hays and Keith Mayato. The 37 and the 36, the teammates there for Team VSPEED will roll off from that front row. Let's take a look at the second row. That's going to be Alex Pelican and Mark Emerson, who's currently having a great start to his season as well. He'll start from the 4th position. 5th will be Alec Martinez. 6th is going to be Bailey Turner. 7th, Angelo Ronis. Seth Hatchell going to roll off from the 8th spot. Starting in 9th here tonight, it'll be Joshua Banks. And rounding out the top 10, it'll be Ray Massey. Jeff Wright going to start from the 11th position. Noah Mikowski going to start in the 12th spot. 13th, it'll be Chris Samard. 14th, Nick Gardner. 15th is AJ Stravato, a race winner back at Daytona this season. James Loveland going to start from the 16th position. Michael Newman starting at 17th. Caleb Weekly going to start from the 18th spot. Rolling off 19th, it's Nicholas Lawrence. And rounding out the top 20, it'll be Lyle Sulfridge. Justin Carey starting in the 21st spot tonight. Alan Dice, he'll roll off from 22nd. 23rd, it'll be Cody Adkins. 24th, Nathaniel Ostrowski. 25th, Dallas Sullivan. 26th, Nick Starling. 27th, Timmy Emanuele. 28th is Reggie Ortega. 29th, Wesley Dunphy. And rounding out the field, or rounding out the top 30 rather, it's showing myself, but not going to be in the race tonight. 31st, Jeremiah Vincent. 32nd, Brandon Vasquez. 33rd, Mark Beverly. 34th, Max Cost. 35th, Dennis Faircloth. 36th, Lane Sulfridge. And 37th, Dennis Steele. So good size field. And luckily, a lot of room to race here from the Pocono Raceway. 2.5 miles, and look at the fog. You can't even see anything down there. So it is going to be tough for us to get some good camera shots, but we'll do the best that we can as the field is still waiting to roll off here in just a few moments. Of course, cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. We will follow along throughout tonight's event. And there we go. Pace car rolling off. It'll be Brody Hays. Keith Mayato going to lead the field off of the pit lane. And 70 laps will determine who our race winner is here from Pocono. Such a tricky track. We got a long pace lap as well. Let's see if we can pull in. See if we can pull in Alec Martinez. And get a quick word in with our in-race reporter before we get going here. Alec Martinez, Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got me.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Alec. Well, you got a good starting spot here tonight. Car must be feeling pretty good, but what's it doing out here at Pocono tonight?
You know, the car's not bad. I think there's good enough speed where I think it's possible we can hopefully end up with the top 3 here. I feel like it's going to be tough with the track conditions. The track's a little tight, so I feel like clean air is going to be at a premium. So we'll see if we can get it, and looking forward here and just happy to be back racing the BTDY. So I'm looking forward to joining you back next week, too. So sorry I couldn't be with you, but I'm looking forward to hearing it tonight.
That is all good. We're rooting for you out there, and we'll see what you can do. But go get them.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good one, man.
You too. All right, and I think we've got him back where he needs to go, and we are about to get things started. Brody Hays, Keith Mayato going to be leading the field off of turn number 3. Heavy fog on the front straightaway. Let's see if we can get a little clearer shot of that, but no, it's going to be foggy no matter where we are. Green flag is out. We're off and away for the KHIO 175 from Pocono. Field already going to 3 wide down into the corner. Brody Hays able to clear the teammate, slips right up in front. He'll jump into that top groove. Everybody makes it out of the corner well enough for the moment. No issues. 3 wide further back in the pack. Everybody else side by side. The 22 of Mark Emerson, the 31 of Alex Pelican going in the tunnel turn. This flat corner, one of the most difficult around here, but they are all completely different from each other. As the top 3 now go single file. Looks like Alex Pelican going to slot in the 4th single file as well. And now the battle's on. Side by side, Alec Martinez and Bailey Turner. A little door contact there as the 24 goes up the hill and right in the way of Seth Hatchell. And a few cars bouncing off the outside wall. We see AJ Stravato and Jeff Wright jump to the bottom, and caution is going to fly. I think further back you see cars piled up by the inside wall. James Loveland, heavy damage. The 16 of Nick Gardner as well. These cars really beat up early on in this one. Take a look at what happened here. So I think it may have happened further up. Yeah, okay. 16 bounces off the wall, gets into Stravato, and then piled into by the 0-2. The 12 of Michael Newman nearly gets flipped over during the course of all of that. Really strange incident, but that may have been due to lack of visibility, possibly. You see him bounce off the wall further back. And then boom, big hit. We're going to go on board here. With Michael Newman. Try and get a better view of what he saw coming off of turn number 3. Yeah, 16 of Nick Gardner just couldn't quite get it collected. I think we may have had a second incident, though. Not sure. I thought I saw another car bounce off the wall. It looks like, yeah, Jeremiah Vincent. He got some right front damage. Or, sorry, that is Nicholas Lawrence. Used to see in Jeremiah. Yeah, big hit, though, and he got into another car further down the racetrack. That may have been Lyle Sulfridge. Yeah, Sulfridge with a little bit of right side damage as well, but a lot of cars involved here as we go back live. Quick caution, only 1 lap completed. And pace laps take quite a while around this track. Could be a little bit, not really a whole lot of stuff to report on there. We got single file amongst the top 5 pretty quickly. But ultimately, problems further back in the field, collecting quite a few, and we'll see who's brought it in. Dallas Sullivan, heavy right side damage on the 46 machine. James Loveland has brought it in. Michael Newman is in. Both those cars missing the back bumper cover. Looks like Loveland maybe still has the nose, but Michael Newman missing that. Nick Gardner he towed it to pit lane. That car heavily damaged. I think suspension issues now. And we'll see if any of these guys get rolling here to at least stay on the lead lap. But it's not going to appear to be the case. I think we'll see a few more cars possibly bring it in. AJ Stravato, who got clipped a little bit as a result of that, he's going to bring it in. Good to see Reggie Ortega back on the racetrack as well. You know that he was out. And AJ a little short in the box there. Gets it rolled up to where he needs to. And we'll see Dallas Sullivan a little further back. Probably get damage fixed. We see a lot of these cars just topping up on fuel, and that is going to be important with just 80% fuel load here as the 46 team works hard to pull out the right front fender. This is again 70 lap race, 55-mile-an-hour pit road. Three green, white checkered attempts here. We may end up using them in the past at this racetrack. These guys have used all three green, white checkers, and we've seen extra long races. But 80% fuel load, there's often a fuel strategy component to this track. We've seen it in real life. We've seen it in the sim multiple times. Bailey Turner comes to mind a couple seasons back, taking the victory here on fumes coming across the line while Keith Mayato was chasing him down very quickly, but couldn't get there in time, and then it was a battle amongst the top five. Lots of great moments here in this league. One of the most competitive across iRacing, and really anybody out here in the top 15, top 20 has a shot to win a race. Already 3 different winners in 3 races, and if you include the Clash, we've had 4 different winners in 4 races. Right now, looking like these two up in front are the quickest so far, but we've really only had 1 lap of action as pace car lights are off. We're going to be going back green in just a moment, but it'll be a couple more minutes before we get back there to take the green flag. We want to thank everybody for their support of the channel. We did hit the 1,000 subscriber mark not too long ago, and your support has meant the world to us. We continue to grow and continue to bring you great racing action throughout the week. Make sure to tune in throughout the rest of this week and the weekend. We've got quite a few big races on. Saturday Night Racing is back after a week off for the Easter holiday, and we also have the Sunoco Cup Series coming on Sunday night, back again. That one's going to be exciting. Make sure to tune on in Saturday and Sunday for those. Taking a look at where these guys are going to be next weekend, or sorry, next week. We are headed to Nashville Super Speedway a week from today. So we'll have gone to Nashville twice in the first 5 races of the season, but 2 different racetracks that are completely different from each other. I mean, not anything you can really compare other than Nashville Super Speedway kind of races like a short track for being a bigger track, and Nashville Fairgrounds is actually a real short track. Pace car off of turn number 3. Field in the hands of Brody Hays and Keith Mayato waiting, and there's the green flag. Good jump for Hays this time. Mayato not quite able to keep with him. We'll see if he's going to get the push from the 31 down into turn 1, as we have another yellow. That is, I believe, that Chris Samard missing the back bumper of his race car. As we are going to take a look back here, what happened to Chris, not exactly sure. But things checked up in front, and Servato got loose, possibly, and a huge hit for Samard. Take a look one more time. I'm not exactly. Oh, the 56 hits the wall. Hits the 33, who almost gets into Chris, and then the 83 of Mark Beverly into the back of the 77, and then he slams it off the inside barrier. But that was all starting with Wesley Dunphy. We're going to go on board with the 56 and just try and understand what happened here. Bounce it off the wall. And AJ Servato, who's back here the tail end of the field pretty much, got a piece of it as well, and really nothing that AJ could do. He was trying to avoid, and Chris Samard ultimately the victim there. That is not how you want to start a race here at a 2.5-mile racetrack. And he has got the damage on the right side of that car. It's going to really affect the handling, and I'll have to see if he can get that back bumper cover put back on. But already 2 cautions in this one. And we haven't even, the whole field has not gone an entire lap yet. So not the best way to start this one. But we'll see if these guys can get it collected here. We're going to go to a quick side-by-side commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back at the racetrack now, the KHIO 175 at Pocono. We've already had 2 cautions in the first 10 laps of this one. We have not gone a complete lap for the whole field. Brody Hays, Keith Mayato, and a bunch of the top 15 were able to complete 1 full lap, but we just had a caution on the restart where cars were bouncing off the wall. Chris Samard got turned on the front stretch down into the inside wall. And ultimately, going to have a lot of damage here tonight. We do want to thank you for joining us and keeping up with the channel. Brody Hays is your race leader. He has led every single lap and looking pretty good at the start of this one. He'll have control of the restart once again. Keith Mayato going to be to the outside, and then Emerson and Pelican in behind them. A couple drivers who have moved up a couple positions are Angelo Ronas and Seth Hatchell, both up 2 positions each. But keep an eye on those guys. They haven't really had many opportunities to gain spots, but they have gained them. We'll see which line has control here as Hayes, good jump this time, and really good jump for Mark Emerson. He's going to have a shot at taking second down into turn number 1. We'll see if he's able to pull alongside. Really good job getting through the gears, and he is going to be able to pull alongside. He'll send it down into the corner. Mayato up high, not going to be able to hold him off entirely, but they're going to be side by side down the short chute towards the tunnel turn. And nose to tail as Hayes has pulled ahead. He's got 2 car lengths in hand. It's Mayato and Emerson, and then Pelican is side by side behind them. That clears out. Hatchell now takes over control at 5th position, Angelo Ronis and Jeff Wright. Look at Jeff Wright already up 5 positions in this one. He won the Saturday night race a couple weeks ago at this racetrack in this car. Trying to do the same thing once again. This is where we had the trouble on lap 1. Any issues throughout the field? Looks clean and green for 1 lap here, so that is good. We've made it around 1 whole lap. The battle is on for second, though. Down into turn 1, Emerson goes a little wide on entry. Gets back to the throttle. He is right there, going to peek to the outside. Quarter panel of Keith Maiato in the 36. And they'll do battle down into the tunnel turn once again. And Emerson kind of with the advantage, the upper hand here, going to take the position away. Maybe Maiato kind of taking it easy here these first couple of laps, as Alex Pelican now going to look down to the inside in turn number 3. This is a tough place to pass, but he's going to send it down through the corner. Maiato still going to hang on the right rear and going to be able to get it off the corner now with help from the teammate behind. The 31 does not have any drafting help, and Maiato's going to be able to push on by down towards turn number 1. We'll see if he can clear, as we've got a car coming to pit lane. I believe that is Michael Newman bringing it in a second time. He's already 5 laps down, but in 32nd position, trying to get that car fixed up a little bit more, maybe to be more competitive. How about this? Jeff Wright continuing to move through the field, already up 6 positions, trying to take another one away. And he's going to go side by side with Seth Hatchell. The concern here is, are you pushing a little too hard too soon? And how is that going to affect you on the long run here? I think maybe some of these guys are being a little too conservative. We'll see if the 48's being a little too aggressive on the tires, as he's going to look to take 4th position from Hatchell away. Not going to be able to do it. Looks like maybe a little brush on the wall for the 8 machine, but he's going to clear the 48. And a little further back right here, Bailey Turner, Joshua Banks, and Alex Pelican all inside the top 10. Banks and Turner, they've had their fair share of issues. Look at Joshua Banks trying to throw the block on the 31 of Alex Pelican. And Alec Martinez, he's down 5 positions, but I think I know what the strategy call is from the 54. Classic Alec Martinez backing off a lot very early, trying to save as much tire as he can to make up ground on the long run. Currently about 2.3 seconds off your race leader. Noah Mikowski behind him, closing in. Here comes Ray Massey, 11th, 12th. Cody Adkins in 13th, also starting to close up. How about Reggie Ortega, up 14 positions already in this race. And Nick Starling coming right there with the number 2 machine. He is up 11 spots from 26th to 15th in this first 14 laps of the race. While it's still Brody Hays, he's led every single lap. Mark Emerson starting to close in. You see Chris Simard slow on the apron of the racetrack, getting out of the way of the rest of the field. But we could have a battle for the race lead in a moment. The top 2 have broken away by about 0.6 of a second over Keith Maiato. Then Seth Hatchell, a couple car lengths behind the 36th, then the 48's right there as well. Angelo Ronis starting to close in, so really it's the top 2, and then it's everyone else. And 3 of the top 4 team VSPEED to start this race, so that set of drivers looking very good. Chris Simard, of course, with the damage and the wreck on the front stretch, going to be scored way towards the back of the field, and James Loveland has taken it behind the wall. So 3 of them faring quite well. The other 2, maybe not so much. Jeff Wright, he's faring very well. He's all over the back of Seth Hatchell as they race towards the tunnel turn. It's so important to get clean air on your car through there as they drop down to under 160 miles an hour. And then race all the way back up to 180 towards turn number 3. And this may be the most important corner on the racetrack. You've got to make sure to get off the corner without catching the wall like the 48 just did. Right into the barrier. Going to lose a lot of momentum. That could allow Angelo Ronis to close in. And that's exactly what he's going to do. The gap shrinks there to about 2 car lengths between 5th and 6th. And Wright going to have to be careful. He's moved up a lot of positions in this race, but can't afford to hit the outside wall very much, as there was a challenge there between Alex Pelican and Joshua Banks for 8th and 9th. But no positions changing hands for the moment. Alex Pelican starting to lose ground in this race, though, back 6 spots after starting all the way up in 3rd. Change for 10th. That's Noah Mikowski taking it away from Alec Martinez, who continues to run a slow pace here. And we've had a problem out of the tunnel turn. Jeremiah Vincent's car with a lot of rear end damage. Take a look at what happened to him here. Big hit, it appears. I'm not sure how it all started. Going down into the corner. 41 just gets pushed up the track. Around goes the 3. Hits the wall there, and everybody else able to avoid. It looked like a bigger impact initially than I... Oh, and that was where the big impact was. Oh my goodness. Nicholas Lawrence tags the 3 as he started rolling before the track was fully clear. Oh my goodness. That is not what you want to see. There was something that happened right here before all of that, though. We may have involved the 5 machine of Alan Dice. I think they were 2 or 3 wide coming off of turn number 1. And they were 4 wide, which is not a great situation to be in. But then they all figured it out. And ultimately it was the 41 going down in the corner. That's Nathaniel Ostrowski. Hitting the 1 of Jeremiah Vincent up into the barrier. And then if we let it roll here, 9 of Nicholas Lawrence was coming around the corner. And boom, huge hit. And that's going to probably end the night for the 9 machine. The right, you see the left front wheel and the right front wheel are not where they're supposed to be. And he's still rolling out there, but that car heavily damaged. Jeremiah Vincent as well. Probably going to have a rough rest of this race. Let's take a look at the field. All coming down pit road, led by Brody Hays. We'll see who wins this battle off of the pit lane. And then we'll get a quick word in with a couple of those guys running up there in the top 10. Hayes missing the box just a little bit, so that's going to cost him. Could be Keith Mayato winning the battle. Mayato dropping the jack. Here comes Emerson. And Mark Emerson, I believe, going to win that battle. Got to check the speeds at the line, but looks like Brody Hays going to fall from 1st down to 4th. And Mark Emerson going to take over the top spot for the moment. Let's see if we can get a quick word in. Oh, Alex Pelican. See if we can get a quick word in with him. We haven't talked with Alex very much here. Alex Pelican, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy? Well, Alex, you had a great qualifying time there. You started up in 3rd, and looks like you're maybe saving a little bit here, but the caution came out. Was that your strategy to begin things, or how's the car feeling for you?
I mean, hopefully here we can get back up there and show them what we got.
Yeah, it's been kind of broken up here with all these cautions early on in this thing. We'll see if we get a long green flag run. How do you feel about your car tonight, and what's the handling like for you?
Other than it gets really tight off 3, really good.
That's good. We've seen a few guys struggle with getting into the wall there off turn number 3, but we'll let you get going here. I think we're getting the 1 to go, so thanks for the time, and good luck out there.
Yep, thank you.
And that is Alex Pelican, currently scored in the, I believe he's going to be in the 11th position. 10th position. After starting 3rd, said the car gets really tight off turn number 3. And that is what we have seen from these guys. They've really struggled there. Even Jeff Wright's gotten the wall. at some point in this race. I think almost all of these guys have gotten right up alongside it, if not into it. But almost 20 laps into the race. Let's take a look at the recap. One lead change, and that happened right there on pit lane. Mark Emerson taking over the top spot from Brody Hays, who lost 4 positions from 1st to 5th. And 3 cautions in the first 20 laps. But hopefully we get a nice green flag run. I think it'll be, if they can go green to the end from here, it's just maybe 2 pit stops, maybe 1 pit stop even if we're lucky. But that might be a little bit of a stretch. We'll take a look as things progress here and just keep an eye on how all of these drivers are doing. But it has been a little bit of a mixed bag to start this one. Seems tough to pass. And we've had already a handful of cautions. A lot of cars still on the lead lap here. We had 34 starters. We have 28 on the lead lap. And Jeremiah Vincent just 1 lap down. He is back up on the racetrack. I'm not sure if he's caught up to the field entirely. Doesn't look like it, but he's at least out there just 1 lap down. Nick Lawrence as well. He's on pit lane, but green flag back in the air. At 22, Mark Emerson leading some laps here at Pocono tonight. We'll see what he can do on this run, if he can hold off the rest of them. Mayato going to send it down into the corner. His teammate Seth Hatchell now looks to the inside. Hatchell going to be able to find some open space up in the groove, and he'll slot in between Mayato and Jeff Wright, and Wright going to push him down the backstretch. And he's got a big shove from Bailey Turner, and then Brody Hays, remember, was just the leader, led so much of this race already. Trying to fight to stay in the top 5. There is Bailey Turner. These two did battle at Nashville Fairgrounds and are currently fighting for the points lead, and really close down into turn number 3. Nearly contact between the 24 and the 37. And here comes Jeff Wright charging through the field, already up 7 positions, trying to get another one. We're going to lose some momentum, and here comes Brody Hays with a head of steam coming down the front stretch down towards turn number 1. Peaks out, not going to make the move, or rather trying to force a mistake possibly. And here is Joshua Banks. These 3 were the exact grouping that were fighting for the lead for so much of that Nashville Fairgrounds race. And they are currently fighting to be around the top 5. Could all be contending for the win. How about this? Battle for the race lead. Emerson up high. Mayato down low, trying to get some of that clean air. Not going to be able to take the lead for the moment. Now we're 2 by 2. Jeff Wright going to jump to the inside underneath Seth Hatchell, and great run into the corner. See how things look coming off the turn. This is where everybody's been getting very tight. And we've got both lines with a draft working down the front straightaway. We've got a group of 5 cars under a blanket. Here is Joshua Banks closing in as well. Bailey Turner is single file, so things getting pretty interesting up at the front of the field. Look at Mayato send it down into the corner. He's going to take the lead away as they race off of turn number 1. You can't even see anything with the thick fog that we've got here. This is your battle for the race lead. Mayato, and here comes Jeff Wright. Right behind him, challenging for second. Hatchell, Hays, Joshua Banks also battling here for the top 5. Look at Joshua Banks send it down in the corner, able to get alongside and nearly clear the 37, and he's going to be able to do just that. Mark Emerson catches the wall, and Jeff Wright has not been able to take that second position away, even with Emerson catching the wall. Here comes Hatchell now, going to look down to the inside. Not quite able to make the run into the turn, and Joshua Banks working around the outside groove in turn number 1. Carrying a lot of momentum. You're going to get that off the corner. You can keep the outside line. Mayato trying to pull away, already about a quarter second ahead. As here's Joshua Banks sending it down in the tunnel turn. That is risky business right there. Brody Hays trying to maybe make a move. We are racing really hard up here in the front of the field. The 24, Bailey Turner, gets into the side of Jeff Wright. And off turn number 3. Brody Hays, Joshua Banks come together. 35 catches the outside wall, and now Joshua trying to side draft him down the front stretch, slow him up whatever he can. And the top 3 now go single file. It's a battle for 4th place. And it looks like Brody Hays is going to get the advantage in turn number 1, and now it's the battle for 5th. And they go single file. Jeff Wright now in the 7th position, and Alec Martinez, Angelo Ronis fighting for 8th and 9th. And next battle behind that is Noah Mikalski and Ray Massey. These two have been 11th and 12th pretty much all race long, fighting for it. How about Reggie Ortega? 15 positions. Making good progress. Cody Adkins in the Dukes Mayo Chevy Camaro. He's up 9 positions as well. AJ Stravato had lost a lot of ground early on in this one. He was outside the top 25, got kind of involved in an incident, and now has been able to work his way back up into the top 15. Nick Starling right here behind him, up 10 positions. Mark Beverly, who was also involved in one of those in the restart accident, currently shown in 17th, up 16 or rather 14 positions in this race, and now he's being challenged by Caleb Weekly, who I believe had a nice top 10 finish last week. Justin Carey, Dallas Sullivan's been able to get the right front damage mostly repaired on that 46 machine. And right now having a pretty good, clean run as Justin Carey slams the outside wall out of turn 3. That's going to open the door for a change of position with Dallas Sullivan. And we've got battles even further back here. The 71 of Lane Sulfridge, the 41 of Nathaniel Ostrowski. Guys fighting throughout this entire field. Really good stuff. And now battles emerging in the top 5. It's Mark Emerson and Seth Hatchell side by side. And then Joshua Banks, he's made some good progress here. Hatchell kind of overshoots the entry to the tunnel turn, but able to carry that momentum. Really nice job as the 22 tries to shut the door. He's going to get tagged by the 37 of Brody Hays. We nearly had an accident. That is really checked up. The 37 VSPEED machine and almost 3 wide off the corner. Joshua Banks able to emerge in 3rd position. He's up 6 spots from where he started. Doing a really nice job in that car. And now down into turn 1, Bailey Turner, Brody Hays bouncing off of each other off the corner. The battle's on for the race lead. Mayato did not have a good run through those last couple of corners. Here comes Hatchell. Gonna take the lead away, and he dove it down in the tunnel turn. Just able to get it off the corner, but Mayato's gonna close right back up. In the top 3, single file. Battle is on for 4th as Hays and Emerson and Wright and Turner continue to throw haymakers at one another. And they are really working the side draft all around this racetrack. You can see Brody, how much he's able to slow up the 22. And here comes Joshua Banks trying to do the same thing to Keith Mayato. Hatchell shuts the door. And what display of battles we have seen here at Pocono tonight. It has been all throughout the field. Especially on this run, these guys have really been going at it, just knowing maybe a caution could fly at any time. You've got to get that track position. We've gone about 10 laps on this stint. And these guys have not stopped battling since the drop of the green flag. As, look at Bailey Turner using all of the racetrack. It's going to work for him, though, off of turn number 3, able to clear the 48. And Angelo Ronis, he is making a charge. He's closed right up to the back of Jeff Wright. And they look at them throwing blocks and trying to figure out who to push and how to push down the backstretch. Jeff Wright going crazy, losing ground here on this run. He's got the right front damage, and he is just trying to work that car wherever he can get it. But these guys are losing so much time just battling like this. And this next group of cars, Ray Massey, Alec Martinez, Alex Pelican, they are starting to close in. We're about to have 12 or 13 cars under a blanket as Emerson and Turner side by side across the stripe. This is for 5th and 6th. Brody Hays has been able to drive away. Mark Emerson checked up big time there. That nearly caused problems for Jeff Wright. As now look at Angelo Ronas working the outside groove. He'll clear the 48 and get to 7th as Seth Hatchell's pulled away again by about a quarter of a second. That's the most that we've seen from a leader. And Joshua Banks is starting to close that gap up now, just under a quarter second. He's got Keith Mayato all over the back bumper, and Brody Hays just coming back towards the front once again. Just trading places all throughout this race. It has been quite the start at Pocono with 3 cautions. And we've got heavy fog. And the top 10 are just going nuts. Everybody is pushing so hard right now as we have got 3 wide headed towards the tunnel turn. This is not going to work. Somebody is going to have to back out. It might be Angelo Ronas, who actually just lost a lot of momentum. He's got right front damage as well. Not sure what happened. As here comes Alec Martinez charging back forward. He is known to save early in these runs. We're getting towards the halfway point. Almost 15 laps into this stint. Oh, and big hit for Emerson off the wall. He was just leading at the start of this run. But 3 laps in this race and continued to drop positions as the run has gone on. Maybe pushed just a little bit too hard to hang on to the lead. And has lost the feel for it as this has gone on. But Angelo Ronas closing off the top line. Here comes Reggie Ortega working down low. Alex Pelican just kind of at the mercy of the 2 headed into the tunnel turn, and he's able to at least get in line a little bit behind the 2. No, it looks like he'll actually stay alongside Ortega. Probably wish that Reggie had actually cleared him all the way. Here comes Noah Mikowski with the big send down into turn number 3. He'll try and take that spot from Ray Massey. And Mark Emerson continuing to struggle off of turn number 3. Missed the corner big time, and he's going to lose a few more spots down the front stretch, dropping outside the top 10. Back to 13th now for the 22, who continues to fall. The top 5 all single file. The top 4 are all pretty much nose to tail. And then you've got Bailey Turner in 5th. He's been able to separate from the rest of the group. Alec Martinez has gotten to 6th. He is charging back to the front. Keep an eye on that 54. In about 5 or 10 laps, he could be up there battling for the race lead. And let's take a look at lap times when they come across the stripe next time around. Hatchell still looking very good. Joshua Banks about 3 or 4 car lengths off of him. Again, the gap just around a quarter second at the line. 55.23 for Hatchell, 55.25 for Joshua Banks, but he got a great run off turn 3. I'm looking at lap times. Definitely quickest car on the racetrack. That is Alec Martinez. Down in the 54.9s. 54.968. And that was about 0.3 of a second faster than Bailey Turner, who's about a second in front of him. And again, about 0.3 of a second faster than Seth Hatchell, your race leader. So Alec Martinez really saving the tires in the early part of this run. Could have an opportunity to get up there, gain some track position by the time we get to the start of the pit cycle, and then he can just repeat that process and ultimately maybe come away with a race win, where he came up short to Jeff Wright on the Saturday Night Racing League display here a couple weeks back. Everything single filed out for the moment. No side-by-side battles to speak of. Keeping an eye on the top spot. Like my auto maybe a little bit wide off the corner there, but able to keep it off the wall. And the top four continue to pull away. Bailey Turner got through that mess, but he's not been able to close on the top four. I think he's missing a little bit of that draft that those guys have. He's about 2/10 off their pace, and Alec Martinez closing in rapidly. Again, fuel strategy could be an option here. They've gone about 17 laps in this run. I think they'll be able to go about another 10 laps, and it'll be really close to the end of this race. Like Nick Starling further back, he's going to peek out to the inside of Mark Emerson, who continues to fall through this field. Man, this has been rough for the 22, maybe just a little bit too much damage on the right side, although it doesn't look too bad. Could have knocked something out of alignment. He started fourth, led 3 laps, and now he's all the way back to 16th position. Nick Starling able to get on by him, moving to the top 15. Good run for the 18 car, and right up there in front of him, Cody Atkins having a very strong run into the 14th spot. And Reggie Ortega, man, how impressive is this? Up 19 positions, and he's not done yet. Look at the run. He's getting out of turn number 3, closing in behind Angelo Ronis. Reggie is definitely quicker than the cars in front of him. Alec Martinez, he's now about a car length behind Bailey Turner. Look, he really went wide on the corner here, trying to cut it down the racetrack, though, and get a big run down the short chute. He's going to do just that. Look at how much he's closing right here. As they head down towards the tunnel turn, is Bailey going to leave the door open? He will. Alec not able to complete the pass that time. Actually has to slow up a bit, and that is going to cost him some momentum. And this is where things get difficult. You can catch somebody, but it's not as straightforward as just going right on by him. But he has been able to time the runs on the exit of these corners so that he gets a lot of speed out of that car, as Jeff Wright slammed the outside wall, and he's going to bounce it down all the way to the inside. Look at all the ground that he lost. 3 positions just like that. Jeff Wright struggling a little bit here in this one, trying to get it to rotate into the corner. You can see he's really throwing the car down in there. Having some problems here tonight at Pocono, side by side with the 31 of Alex Pelican. That'll move him back into the top 10. And Reggie Ortega continues his march towards the front, up 21 spots, by far biggest mover in this race. He's leading this group of race cars. Challenge for the top spot. It's 3 wide at the front of the field. Not sure what happened with Hatchell, but oh, my auto trying to clear him. He's going to get turned by the 35. Heading towards the inside wall. And I guess that's an involuntary pit stop, but no caution is going to fly. Joshua Banks lost so much ground. We're going to go back and take a look at all of that. Just came up across the nose, and around goes my auto. Man, Keith has had just a rough string of luck here. I'm not sure. I think that's a little bit self-inflicted, but not entirely. That's really about as much a racing deal as you can get. He just was washing up out of the corner. As we go back live, he has brought it to pit lane. Keeping an eye on the pit time. Doesn't appear to have gotten any type of a speeding penalty, but here comes Seth down into turn number 3. Keith is running off of pit road right now, so he's been able to bring it in. He'll have a tire advantage, and it is about 2 seconds, or rather about 1.1 seconds difference between fresh tires and old tires where they are at this point in the run. Maybe even more than that. The fast times are in the high 53s. Seth Hatchell ran a 55.5. Brody Hays now takes over second spot. Alec Martinez moves to third. Joshua Banks able to get back in line in fourth, and Bailey Turner in fifth. Reggie Ortega has moved up to sixth. This is one of the best runs that I have seen Reggie have in my entire time here on VSPEED. We've watched Reggie race for years, and he's had some very impressive runs over the years. This one, he is looking really good out here tonight. Up 22 spots into the top 6. And, you know, we'll maybe see some guys start to come to pit lane because of what happened with Keith Mayato. He's going to have an advantage. He can run clean laps out here, and we're going to keep an eye on the lap times as we have a car in the wall. Justin Carey, I believe, caught the wall off turn 3. And things have been just wild in this race. We've seen all kinds of situations. We are seeing 3 wide racing right now out of turn number 1. And that's going to cause a caution. Big hits. That could save Keith Mayato. But Nick Starling going to pay the price in this one. Let's see what happened to the driver of the 18 having such a good night. Coming off of turn number 1. The 83, Mark Beverly, comes up the hill. Gets into the 18. Gets into the 7. They go around. I don't know if anybody else got collected. Looks like, oh, few cars. Yeah, big hit on Mark Beverly. We're going to go back another second here. He definitely bore the brunt of this accident. I mean, not a good situation for others. Oh, huge hit there. That was Alan Dice getting into him, and then Caleb Weekly getting more contact. Looked like Dallas Sullivan also getting a piece of that. Oh, big hit. He comes to rest here. Looks to be able to roll away, so that's always a good sight. But bringing it to pit lane now, heavy damage on the 83, and the engine has expired on that one. We'll see what the pit strategy is. They should be able to go close to the finish of this race. They've gone 24 laps on this stint, and they have 28 laps to go, so that may remove any element of pit strategy. Problem is, Keith Mayato, what does he end up doing? He's been out here for a couple of laps. So is he going to elect to stay on the racetrack and try and get that track position back? But he's going to be that much closer on fuel. He'll have 30 laps he'll have to go on 1 tank of gas. And Hatchell should be bringing him down to pit road. I don't think there's going to be anybody that would elect to stay out in this situation. They are checking up at the entry to pit road. Hatchell will lead him down. Keep an eye on Mayato. He's going to stay out. And I think that's what he's going to have to do. Ultimately was racing for the lead, and looks like he'll get the lead. Not the way he wanted it, and not really with the most ideal circumstances. Brody Hays able to get into the box cleanly this time, and there comes Mark Emerson, who had struggled at the tail end of that run. Reggie Ortega off and away. He's going to have a great pit stop here. Should get off within the top 6 once again. It's going to be Hatchell winning the battle off pit road. He'll ultimately come out on track behind his teammate Keith Mayato. But Hatchell will have 2 lap fresher tires. Not sure what happened with Seth there that caused the 3 wide situation. And there is the 9 machine of Nicholas Lawrence, who will probably bring it in next time around. We're going to go to another quick side-by-side commercial break. We will be right back.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader, known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs. You can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back at the racetrack now, about to get things going once again from Pocono Raceway. We're about 25 laps out. Keith Mayato on the 2-lap older tires gets us going. Green flag is out. How long is Mayato going to be able to hang on? And will he be able to on the older tires? Is he going to be able to make it on fuel as they try to settle it out for second? The VSPEED teammates of Brody Hays and Seth Hatchell. And Joshua Banks got a big slide in the top groove. Just able to hang on to it. That is going to possibly cost him time, but no, he's actually able to clear the 24 Bailey Turner. And how about Noah Mikalski? Great job on the pit cycle there. He's going to come out in 6th. And Reggie Ortega, big bobble off tunnel turn. Not sure if there was contact. He's going to lose a ton of spots and fall outside the top 10. Just a little slip up right there. Going to have to be careful of these cars coming off of turn number 3. Almost into the wall goes Joshua Banks, but able to keep it moving forward. Here comes the 24 with a big push from the 03. And these two have had their share of incidents. What is going to happen down into the corner? And what's going to happen is Bailey Turner is going to clear and take the position away. Joshua Banks couldn't do anything about it, but he's going to be right on the back bumper headed towards the tunnel turn. As the teammates up in front battling, Mayato, remember, on the 2-lap older tires, having to cycle to the front because of getting spun down pit lane, not a voluntary pit stop. Now he's just trying to hang on and salvage whatever he can. A lot of guys up here in the top 10 that could take this thing. Even in the top 15, we've seen drivers that have been able to charge through the field and make up tons of ground on the long run. How about AJ Stravato? He's been nowhere for a lot of this race. Went to the back of the field, got involved in something back there, and now up inside the top 10 after starting in 15th. He's figured something out here, and he's got that car rolling in the right direction and could always be a threat at the end of the race. Got plenty of time to get there and make something happen. So keep an eye on that 33, the champion from season 2. Always looking for a way to get up to the front. Seth Hatchell, the back-to-back champion here in this series, currently leading the way, looking for his first victory of the season. Brody Hays, who's been runner-up twice already here in 2024. running in second. He's led 17 laps of this race. Those being the first 17 laps. He's been away from the lead for the rest of the time. But he's been charging back towards the front, and now on fresh tires, looking pretty good to keep up with the teammate there off the corner. Haley Turner's been able to move up to third. What a season. He is having a race win at Nashville Fairgrounds, and really good last week at Darlington as well. And once again, looking to maybe finish on the podium. He has quickly made a name for himself here this season. I mean, he's been so good over the last few seasons, but the 24 car looking like could be the one to beat for the championship already in this season. Brody Hays has been just as consistent, just does not have that race win, but 2 runner-ups in back-to-back races. Looking to maybe get one here at Pocono, but how about Seth Hatchell? Looked like he could have had a shot at one a couple times this season. And currently leading the way. He's done a fantastic job managing this lead, and Mayato continuing to fade a little bit here in the beginning of the run. I think this will level out just a little bit at some point for him, but Noah Mikowski going to move into the top 5. Great run from the 03. He's up 7 spots. Alec Martinez still kind of hanging inside the top 10 here. I'm waiting for that 54 to pick up the pace. Probably about 10 or 15 laps to go, so that is closing in pretty soon. Jeff Wright, a bit further back, he went into the pit lane a second time. I'm not sure if that was to top up on fuel or maybe get a little bit more damage repaired as he bounces off the wall on the front stretch. And 48 has struggled a little bit more than we would have expected after winning in dominant form last week at Darlington. But he's now challenging to take 14th away from Ostrowski, not able to do it off of turn number 1. But how about Justin Carey? He's a name that we've mentioned, but he's bounced it off the wall a few times. He's in the top 15. Really having a good run. You know, could close this thing out with a good solid finish. Right in front of him, Reggie Ortega, who's been so good on the long run, did not have a good opening lap of this stint and lost a bunch of ground. But we'll see if the 2 car can work his magic and work his way through the pack. Man, they are all over each other, these top 5. You know it's going to be a long run potentially, so do you push really hard on the front end and burn your stuff up, trying to build a gap, hoping that you get a yellow flag and can maintain your track position? Or are you just trying to pace yourself here like a few of these drivers are? The top 5 are all running very similar lap times, all within about a 10th of each other. Even Mayato in 6th has pretty much leveled out with the top 2. And Alec Martinez about a 10th slower than those guys, and I think that is where we're starting to see some of these guys save on the long run. That's Stravato, that's Ronis, that's Ray Massey, Cody Adkins, and Reggie Ortega. I think those guys are all trying to save a little bit here, knowing we've got nearly 20 laps remaining in this race. Hatchell continues to show the way. Let's take a look a little further back in the field at a couple drivers who have had mixed races. That has been Mark Emerson running in 18th. He started up at the front of the field in 4th. He led 3 laps and then quickly dropped through the field, ultimately getting a piece of a couple of incidents. Nick Starling got turned around and got damage in the last wreck, but still running inside the top 20 in a good, solid race for him. Alex Pelican's been one who, I'm not exactly sure what happened to him here. Maybe stopped, yeah, it looks like stopped the second time to top up on fuel. So he is a little further back than he has been running, which was right around the top 10, if not even higher than that. And trying to work his way forward, passing Timmy Emanuele for the moment. He'll clear him just about off of turn 1, but not quite. And that battle will continue. Jeff Wright, Cody Adkins, Justin Carey, all within the top 15. And really, at this point, I think a lot of these guys just kind of settled out for the moment, not trying to make up too much ground. You see Max Koss back here, the Clash winner. He's running in 22nd. Doing a solid job, up 12 spots and racing with Lyle Sulfridge. These two having a battle to themselves back here just outside the top 20. And these guys in front of them, a couple seconds ahead, are just all over each other. Racing through the fog here in Pocono. It's just competitive everywhere. That's what's incredible about this field. We've got battles, we've got nose to tail everywhere you look. And these top 5 are driving away. Mayato is about a second and a half behind Noah Mikowski. And Alec Martinez starting to close in on the 36. He's picked up the pace once again. Angelo Ronas staying right there with him, so keep an eye on that 54. He's lost about 2.5 seconds to the leader, as Hatchell is under a lot of pressure from Brody Hays. This is the battle for the lead. Down into turn 1. Hays is all over the back bumper of his teammate. Not sure he's trying to knock him out of the way or what he's trying to do right here, but trying to set up possibly for a pass and get that clean air once again. Very impressive run from Mikowski. He's up 7 spots. Hatchell's up 7 spots. Reggie Ortega starting to make up ground once again. He's gotten to 11th. Jeff Wright has gotten around Cody Adkins. So the 48 starting to move back to the front. And I would expect Jeff to be battling for top 10s each and every week. And it looks like he'll be able to do that here by the end of this one. Dominated at Darlington, and very different race tonight. Has not been dominant by any stretch, but really charged through the field early on and then just lost a ton of ground. Couldn't find a good lane to run and lost the handle for the car, got into the wall. And that is what racing is all about. It's about persevering and continuing on in the 48, trying to do just that. Could still have a shot at the win if these guys are concerned about fuel. Could be saving a little bit further back there in the group of cars around him. Whereas Seth Hatchell, he's been leading this entire run. He's going to be burning the most fuel, and same with Keith Mayato. He's going to be burning a lot here as he's now been caught by Alec Martinez, and I'm sure that 54, a little bit fresher tires, he might make a move even down here into turn number 1. Laps clicking away. And that gap's still growing just a little bit from Alec up to Seth Hatchell. We've got 2 distinct lead packs, the top 5, and then this next group of about 10 cars, and then we've got smaller packs after that. Side-by-side battle, Dallas Sullivan, Timmy Emanuele through the tunnel turn. The 46 going to try and clear him. He tries to keep it wound up on the high side. He's going to be able to and hold him on the right rear quarter panel, but now losing a little ground. And there's contact. Timmy and Marcus. Oh my goodness. Timmy Emanuele, Mark Emerson get together. Big contact, and what a save by Timmy Emanuele. I'm sure he's not too happy about that. Oh my goodness. Let's take a look at that. I know Timmy likes to film and take photos of drift events. He's getting into the action right there with that big slide in turns 3 and 4. Or rather, turn 3. There is no turn 4 here at Pocono. You get used to saying that everywhere else, and then they throw a curveball here at Pocono. Tricky to race, tricky to call, and tricky to hang on to the race lead. It's still Seth Hatchell, but everybody behind him has closed in that much more. They are nose to tail, but Man, turn 3 has been such a challenge for all of these drivers. They've been really tight on the exit. Nobody's been able to really muster up any kind of run to challenge for the top spot. Here comes Noah Mikalski and Joshua Banks. What a run for the 03. Continuing to march forward through this field. Not able to clear just yet, but he's going to be alongside down the short chute. Not able to keep the side draft on him, though. He'll still hang in the top 5. Brody Hays is on the bumper. I'm not sure if it's just because of a draft or if he's that much quicker than Seth, but he has been right there knocking on the door every lap. And it looks like he timed the run pretty well this time out of turn number 3. Is he going to be able to muster up enough speed to get past that aero bubble down into turn number 1? Still pushing the teammate down into the turn. 10 laps to go next time around. As Reggie Ortega moving back through the field into the 9th position. Ray Massey coming with him, and they've closed up now not too far behind AJ Stravato. The top 2 still nose to tail. We got lots of nose to tail all throughout. Hatchell a little wide on entry there. That could open up an opportunity as Bailey Turner and Joshua Banks starting to fade just a little bit off the top 2. Losing a little ground. Noah Mikalski, after attempting to make the pass for 4th, he's lost a whole bunch of time. That's about 6 car lengths. It's the top 2 VSPEED machines. 10 laps to go in this race. We're clicking them off very fast here. Alec Martinez in 6th. He's doing a fantastic job. Continuing to march his way forward. Looking at lap times, he's about a 10th quicker than your top 5, if not more than that. And about 2.4 seconds back. He's got a little bit cleaner air than he's had throughout the rest of this run. Is he going to be able to close the distance? That corner alone looks like he took about a half-tenth out of the race lead. Again, Seth Hatchley, he's been pretty much perfect on this run, controlling the air, controlling the runs from the 37 to Brody Hays. But here comes Brody one more time. I don't think he's going to make the move just yet. I think he's waiting just a little longer, because he doesn't want to be in the position that Seth's in, where you're going to have to essentially block or manage the air of the car behind you. I think Brody wants to make the move and have no time left for Seth to be able to get back by him, or any of these other guys. Maybe they're just working together as teammates and trying to get away from the rest of the top 5. Alec Martinez that time around 2/10 quicker. That's just about the pace he needs, maybe a little bit more than that. And he'll start to get a little bit more draft from Noah Mikalski very soon. Mikalski still running in the top 5. That time catches the wall. Big hit for him. That could cost him the spot. Here comes Martinez with a big head of steam. He'll at least get the draft down towards turn number 1. And now Noah Mikalski with an injured race car. Going to have some ability to control the air of the 54. But also Alec's going to have a nice head of steam off of turn number 1. Battle for the top 5 could be a battle that affects who wins this race. We're under 10 laps to go. We have just flown through this race at Pocono. To recap, 4 cautions, 3 of those happened in the first 20 laps. We had 1 other wreck on the backstretch. We've had 5 total lead changes. Seth Hatchell is your current race leader. He's led 33 laps, trying to get the most. If he leads just 1 or 2 more here, he will lock that up for sure, but I think he's pretty much done it at this point. 34 laps led, and Brody Hays has faded off the back bumper. He's now fallen into the clutches of Bailey Turner, who's going to dive it down in turn 1. Bailey shuts the door. Sorry, Brody shuts the door on Bailey. And off turn number 1, 24 is not going to be too happy about that, I am sure. He was hoping to get in there and be alongside and make that much more ground up on Seth Hatchell, but gonna have to wait at least a couple more corners to attempt another pass. A little further back, Keith Maiato. He's faded out of the top 10, now back to 12th. Those 2-lap older tires have really affected him on this run. And a driver who was battling for the lead. Unfortunate circumstance again. Let's get a little piece of the 35 and get turned around. Jeff Wright has made it back in the top 10 into 10th position, and Reggie Ortega has not been able to make up any more ground from 9th as the field has gotten very strung out. But we're getting into that period of time where it's going to be close on fuel for potentially a couple of these drivers. And Hatchell has now gotten the lead. The battle is on for second. Bailey Turner going to take it away in the tunnel turn. And that gap climbs as they exit the corner. And here comes Joshua Banks closing in. Going to try and challenge for a podium spot. He's going to send it down into turn number 3 underneath the 37 of Brody Hays. They'll be side by side down the front stretch. And I think Hays off the wall right there, able to keep the momentum up somehow. Thanks for joining the chat there, Dennis, and hope you're all safe there. I'm sorry to miss you here tonight. It is Seth Hatchell with 5 laps to go. 3/4 of a second in hand over Bailey Turner, who's been a winner here at the track a couple of times in this league. And again, having a fantastic run. The points leader tied with Brody Hays, who's also running up at the front. Bailey has not led a lap yet. He's trying to get there and pushing really hard right now to close in on Seth Hatchell. Seth's been at the front of the field for this run. Could have burned a little bit more fuel than the rest of these guys. And he's got to be mindful of that as Maiato and Jeff Wright has brought it to pit lane. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or what happened exactly. Taking a look at the replay. Yeah, he elected to bring it down all by himself here. And really locked him down. I think he's just topping up on fuel. Keeping an eye on the pit time. Oh, he's taking tires. I'm not exactly sure what is up with that. But yeah, it's 17.9 second stop. He's off and away, unless he was just getting fuel and then he served the penalty for speeding, possibly. We may see a few other cars bring it down pit road. We'll keep an eye on it. Doesn't appear. Oh, here comes Maiato. He's not going to be able to make it. He had to go those extra 2 laps. So that is how close it is going to be on fuel. Maiato not able to get it to the end of the race. Nobody else has brought it down pit road, so that's the situation. Alec Martinez continuing to chop away into the lead, but has not made up enough ground. He's still about 1.9 seconds, and we're coming back around to 2 laps to go. But he's gotten by Noah Mikalski, who's also been passed now by AJ Stravato. And AJ's been just trying to recover from the beginning parts of this race. And really tough to make passes on even on long green flag runs here at Pocono. You lose so much time. As Hatchell off of turn number 3, coming back to 2 laps to go. The gap just over a half second between Hatchell and Turner. Bailey Turner doing whatever he can to close in. He's got the benefit of the draft at this point. And you can see throws it down in the corner, trying to make up as much ground as possible. Up off the corner. Just trying to keep the speed in it, but Hatchell able to pull it back just a little bit. As long as these guys make it on fuel, it is going to be really hard to make up a half second. Hatchell's going to have to make a big mistake off of one of these corners. I have not seen anyone else bring it down pit road. We're coming back to the white flag. Hatchell looking for his first win of the season. Here at Pocono, he's got over 0.6 of a second to Bailey Turner, who did not get a great run off of turn number 3. Do they have enough fuel to go the rest of the way? Is anybody going to run out throughout this pack? We've already seen 2 cars bring it in a couple of laps early. The white flag is in the air from Pocono for the KHIO 175. It's Hatchell out in front. Bailey Turner closing in, but not fast enough. Brody Hays back in third. He's been able to hold off Joshua Banks, and Alec Martinez is right there battling with the 35 for fourth. That's actually one to watch for that 4th position, but it's Hatchell off the tunnel turn. One more corner from Pocono. Does he have enough fuel to get his first win of the season? Here he goes into turn number 3. The number 8 VSPEED Chevy Camaro off the corner. Still under power, and he is going to make it to the flag. Seth Hatchell wins the KHIO 175 from Pocono. Bailey Turner second, and battle to the line for 4th. It's going to be Alec Martinez off the corner, taking that position. What a race tonight. They had those early cautions and nice green flag runs here at the last part of the race tonight. And wow, what a run for all those guys in the top 5. Seth Hatchell taking the win here from Pocono. We'll be right back to interview him and the rest of the top 3 finishers right after a quick commercial break. Back at the racetrack now, we'll be pulling in our top 3 finishers. We'll start with Brody Hays, who came home in the 3rd position. Let's see if we can find him here. Hey, Brody, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Brody, it was quite a battle up there in the top 5 for a lot of this race. We saw, really hard side-by-side racing, and ultimately you were running with Seth there for a lot of the last run. Not able to keep up with him, and you fall to 3rd here. But how did the car feel tonight? How do you feel about tonight's race?
It was fast until it wasn't. Had good short run speed. It was just all about saving the right front. Who could do that better? So I was just trying to work with Seth there that last run, see if we can break away from everybody. So good to see a V-Speed teammate get the win. Fun race, hard racing with some individuals out here, but all in all, it was a good night.
Yeah, and this is another podium finish, in your belt here, as we are only 4 races into it. I think you've had 3 podium finishes. So really good start to the season. We go to Nashville Super Speedway next week. How do you feel about going out there?
Pretty confident, just like, everywhere else we've been. I'm sure that's all going to be about saving the right front again. Make sure you keep it under you. But Nashville usually puts on some pretty decent racing, so hopefully we can go there and be a couple spots better this time. A podium's great, but a win would be better.
Yeah, you've been knocking on the door and led a lot of laps this season, so definitely think that win is coming for you here pretty soon. But 3rd place here tonight at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, give a shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys doing the broadcast. All our partners for coming on board this season to support this. It's a lot of fun. So thank you to you guys.
Awesome, Brody. Well, congrats on the podium finish, and we'll catch you at Nashville Super Speedway next week.
Awesome. Thank you.
That is Brody Hays. Let's now go to 2nd place finisher. That is Bailey Turner. we can get him into the booth here. Bailey Turner, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, Bailey, a runner-up finish here tonight. I believe that's 2 in a row for you after Darlington last week. But, man, you were closing in, just not quite enough time there in the last few laps. Just describe tonight's race with all that hard battling in the top 5.
I mean, it was the first run of that race, man. Just, I didn't have enough patience, and it showed on the long run. And really, just, I was thinking I was sitting there managing the right front enough, and just absolutely killed the right front that first run. And then with all the restarts and everything, I got pretty lucky as far as just positioning, and I got by a couple guys early in the run, and was able to kind of set my own pace and. Kind of kicking myself a little bit just because I think I should have tried to push Brody a little bit harder there earlier in the run, because I felt like he was just, they were playing the teammate game, trying to help each other out, and, which I get it. We've all done it with our teammates, but it was frustrating right behind just because every time I wanted to make a move, I knew if I made a move, Banks was going to be right there to get to my right rear, and just not a lot you can do. So just patience was the name of the game there, and then at the end, just didn't quite have enough right front compared to all the clean air Seth had, and just wasn't able to get there. But still, like you said, P2 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if my win was the week before that. So just riding that wave of momentum and trying to stay up there in the points this season.
Yeah, you and Brody came into tonight's race tied for the points lead, and once again, you guys are right there in the mix on the podium. And he led some laps here tonight. You didn't lead any. I think it's probably still going to be tied going into next week's race. So. It's going to be a heavyweight fight, I think, all the way to the end of the regular season here. Yeah,
no, I agree. It's been fun. I think I have a lot of respect for Seth, and him and Brody and Jeff. I feel like and even AJ and some other guys that are right around the mix. I just felt like week in and week out, Seth is always right up there, and he always races with a lot of respect. So I appreciate that, and happy for him. He definitely deserved that win. I know that I watched that crazy 3-wide battle that him and Keith and those guys had, and. It seemed like those VSPEED cars just had the field. Honestly, if we would have been green there, they probably would have finished 1, 2, 3 right there. So, congrats to those guys. And yeah, just looking forward to next week.
Yeah, speaking of next week, we go right back to Nashville, but not the fairgrounds. We go to the Super Speedway. I know you're a big fan of that place. How do you feel about going out there?
I am a big fan of that place, but I can't quite figure it out. That concrete, I need to go call Adam Cabot and get a few lessons on how to race on concrete, because that place just hasn't been my friend the last couple seasons. But yeah, hopefully with this car combo instead of the next gen and all that, hopefully I'll figure that out. And yeah, that's technically right in my backyard, so hopefully I'll put a good show. Top 5, I'm happy. Anything worse than that, it kind of feels like a disappointment at this point. So we'll be going for that. And also just shout out to the teammates over there at Sad Boys. Yeah, I felt bad. I kind of messed up Angelo's race. I felt like he would have definitely been up there in the top 5. Me and him were going into pit stalls, and the car didn't ghost, and I made him miss his stall. So I want to apologize for that. And yeah, thanks to you guys in the broadcast and all the admins for putting up with us each week. And it's been fun.
Awesome, Bailey. Well, congrats on runner-up once again here, and continuing a great start to this season. We'll catch you at Nashville Super Speedway.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
His second place finisher, that is Bailey Turner, and we're going to bring up our race winner now. That is Seth Hatchell, gets his first win of the season, the 2-time champion. Seth Hatchell, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, man, you went out there and dominated the second half of this race. You were working up inside the top 5 for a lot of the beginning, and it looked like it was tough to pass. The car was pretty tight at points, but you were able to hold them all off. There was an interesting 3-wide battle, and I guess just describe that moment when Joshua Banks and Keith Myatt were right there battling with you.
Yeah, that was something. I really thought being on the outside there in the 3, especially since I was falling back, I'd worn the right front off of it, that I was probably getting sent into 3. Somebody was probably going to wash up into me. And I haven't had a chance to look back and see what happened, but I think Keith and Josh got together, and Keith was a good teammate and hung a left to make sure he didn't get into me, so I appreciate him for that. But all in all, a kind of wild race. I really didn't think I was going to have much speed tonight, and it seemed like on the long runs, even there at the end, I really just fell off a lot. But I guess I just had enough speed, especially during the middle of the run, to hold guys off and really try and hold off the draft. Because even if you're better than the guy with how long the straightaways are, if two guys got lined up, they could really make some time onto you. So with 10 to go, I thought I was hoping for a third place finish, and then we got to 5 to go, and Bailey got by, and just having to hold him off there at the end. But it was fun racing, and glad to get the win.
Yeah, your first win of the season here, and gonna help in the points a little bit more. But yeah, it was close on fuel for a bunch of guys too. I know Keith and Jeff, both came down pit road. Were you feeling, the pressure with the fuel situation, or were you good to go, from the get go of that run?
It was a little tight on fuel, and I was wondering, being out front that entire last run, if it was going to be even a little bit tighter. But we ended up being about a lap to the good, thankfully. Honestly, I was paying attention, saving fuel, coming to the restart there, and then once we dropped the green flag, I wasn't even thinking about it. So glad it didn't come to that. I've won a fair share of fuel mileage races and lost plenty of them too. So I'm glad it didn't come to that, and I was able to just race it out for the win.
Yeah, definitely fun to see it go green the whole rest of the way, and you're able to hold them all off. We go to Nashville Super Speedway next week. Do you think you can go back to back there?
Yeah, I don't see why not. That track's gonna be really tough to pass, but I seem to do pretty well on the concrete tracks. So it's just gonna be really important to qualify well and try and stay up front all night. But I don't see why we can't win.
Yeah, and you've done it before. You've done it with the championship, so can never count out the number 8 machine. You get the win here at Pocono tonight after leading 41 laps. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank you, Adam, for doing a great job with the broadcast and the VSPEED brand as a whole. Got to thank Nick, all the admins doing a great job running this league, all the sponsors of this league, including KHIO for tonight's race, and all the other sponsors. Got to thank the drivers putting on a great race for everybody to watch, and my team VSPEED.
Awesome, Seth. Well, great to see you in Victory Lane here tonight, and maybe we'll see you once again in Victory Lane at Nashville Super Speedway next week. Congrats, and go celebrate. We'll catch you then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that is Seth Hatchell, race winner here from Pocono. He gets his first win of the season. Let's go to the full race results. We'll head on out for the night here from the KHIO 175 at Pocono Raceway. It is Seth Hatchell taking the win after 4 cautions and 5 total lead changes. He holds on for the last 41 laps of this race to take the win. Bailey Turner was closing in, not enough time. He comes home in second, his second runner-up finish of the season, and his championship foe in Brody Hays comes home in the 3rd position. Really great run for both those guys. Alec Martinez was able to charge all the way up to 4th before the close of the race. He gets by Joshua Banks, who comes home in the 5th position. AJ Stravato with the long race, the full race recovery, comes home in 6th position. Angelo Ronas comes home with a solid 7th place finish. Noah Mikowski finishes 8th. Reggie Ortega, strong race from him, finishes in 9th. And Ray Massey going to round out the top 10. In 11th position, it was Cody Adkins. 12th was Alex Pelican. 13th was Justin Carey. 14th, Dallas Sullivan. 15th, Mark Emerson. Max Cost with a very good run in 16th. Nathaniel Ostrowski comes home in 17th. 18th was Timmy Emanuele. Nick Starling finishes in the 19th spot, and Lane Sulfridge rounds out the top 20. 21st tonight, it was Lyle Sulfridge. 22nd, Alan Dice. 23rd, Wesley Dunphy. 24th, Caleb Weekly. 25th, Dennis Steele. 26th, Keith Mayato. Jeff Wright finishes in 27th, the last car on the lead lap. Those two, the 36 and the 48, really hit hard by having to pit there at the end of the run. Chris Samard finishes 28th tonight. 29th was Nicholas Lawrence, and rounding out the top 30 was Mark Beverly. 31st was Michael Newman. 32nd, Jeremiah Vincent. 33rd, James Loveland. 34th, Nick Gardner. 35th is going to be Brandon Vasquez. 36th will be Dennis Faircloth, and then my name is up on there, but none of us started tonight's race. And what an event here for the KHIO 175 at Pocono. We do want to thank you so much for tuning in here on VSPEED. My name is Adam Baker. Appreciate you tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Check out the race sponsors and the channel sponsors in the video description below. We'll catch you at the next one tomorrow night. We've got plenty of action all throughout the week. Make sure to tune on in right here only on VSPEED.